Get you that kung fu swang.
It's another one of those old Frank Monday productions coming at you.
Light Entertainment.
All right. It says I'm live. I don't know how much truth there is to that. You never do. I'm about to cross the street, so I gotta keep my eye on the road. I was back home in the United States in one of the most prosperous years of the U.S. economy, the last year of his lordship. Trump, the big man, was in charge. He hadn't got much done by that point, though, in my humble opinion, because I was working in the economy and it was a fucking shit show. The poor man was still struggling, no matter which way you look at it. I was putting in like 80 hours of hard labor every week, and all I could afford was, if it wasn't for my family feeding me, all I could afford was about a 99-cent burrito and break even. So it was a shit show. And yeah, so I'm parked now, and I decided I'd do my morning live stream once I get my ass parked, because my mom was nervous about me driving and fiddling with the camera, and she's right. That shit's dangerous. I wasn't taking any chances, though. I was very cognizant of the traffic conditions on the road, but I got excited by a building and I wanted to shoot it. So here we are once again, live from Beijing. It is a fucking Lovecraftian miasma of smoke and smog and trash. But you know, what are you gonna do? Part of the condition and the reason for it is that during the 90s, the Clinton administration did so many backdoor deals with this country that just opened it up wide for industrialization, and the U.S. sent most of its manufacturing here. So folks that are claiming, climate change, global warming, blah, 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 and so on and so forth, you got to remember, those are the guys that fueled some of the heaviest global pollution in the world here in China. So it's not like they really give any kind of fuck about climate change. It's just that they don't want it in their backyard. But I've decided, and I've already been pretty close to achieving it, is I'm going to go media free in 2021. Well, mainstream media free. And I'm not going to listen to the news. I was talking to my mom it was either last year or a couple of years ago, and she was saying that she's pretty much gone mainstream media free. And so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do 30 days. So I got the 30-day challenge going, starting from today. 30-day challenge, mainstream media free, no talking about politics, fuck it all. Just, I'm going to be focused on literature. That's what I do anyway. I teach English, and I'm a laureate at my university. Well, that's not a university, it's a university prep school. But I'm the in-house laureate, and I'm just going to stay focused on that. So I've been reading Dragonlance books. I've been reading them since I was a kid, and I'm compiling a little club to play Dungeons and Dragons at the school. This year I have got a group of miscreant 7th graders that nobody else wanted, and they're stuck in the middle. Their English is good, their Chinese is good, but neither their English nor their Chinese is good enough. So it's almost similar to the situation that my kids find themselves in. My kids' Chinese is good enough, though. They're fucking on top of it, especially Dresden. And Dresden's math skills are good enough, but Amber's kind of got herself into a situation, and it's not her fault. I mean, she grew up with an American dad, where her Chinese is lacking a little and her English is not perfect. And you know these fucking schools, man. I don't know if you do know these schools, but these schools over here in China are some of the most demanding in the world. And it's because they feel a need to be extremely globally competitive. And the people who are really truly successful, they get out, man. They go to the top universities in the world, and you're going to see a Chinese era in the future that is going to challenge the global hegemony of Western power. It's game over for the West, man. These Chinese, they batten down the fucking hatches, and they are a hard-working and long-suffering people. And I knew that before I came over here, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to integrate with the Chinese culture, is because, you know, slavery ain't shit to them. There's 90% that are just like cattle, and just as long as they're getting fed and clothed, they don't give a fuck if they got any fucking personal freedoms or rights. They just move along. Just move along to get along. And so waking up that beast, Master Nee used to call it the ant hill. He said that Chinese laborers are like ants. They work on a hive mind mentality, and they just get shit done. And they're just happy to get shit done. So, you know, they don't give a fuck if they're swimming around in shit soup, sucking on a fucking turd. That's order of the day for them. Whereas the U.S., with all of its newfangled, you know, oh, nobody can smoke any cigarettes, everything's gonna be super clean, have a McDonald's hamburger mentality, ain't cut out for fucking modern warfare. And the modern warfare, you know, like you say, it's not throw all your slaves against all the other person's slaves type situation anymore. It's a throw all your slaves into factories and get them producing so that you can dominate the global market. In addition to that, colonize every planet on every country on the planet. And you can only do that if you've got a 2 billion person base. So it baffles and astounds me that they would, that folks in the States would be like, oh, population control. The Chinese never went for it, man. They had one generation of population control, and nobody really paid that much attention to it. They had the one-child policy going on, but in the countryside, they were still knocking out 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. You know, they might get caught, and all those folks just get droned into the system as orphans and slaves, and, you know, the U.S., yeah, pussies. I don't know, to some extent, it's a very convoluted, complicated situation. And like I said, I'm going to go MSN free for 30 days. And I invite you to join me and do the same. But to kick off that 30 days MSN free, I am going to start the weekend off right with Dark Journalist over at the X100 over at Dark Journalist. So it's here. You can get it on YouTube, and it'll be live, and I'll be in the chat room. Hopefully I'll be in the chat room. That'll be tomorrow morning for me, which means it'll be tomorrow night that'll be, I think it's tonight for y'all if you're back in the States. I don't keep up with European time because I didn't really ever keep contact with anyone in Europe. Do I know anyone in Europe right now? I mean, I do know some folks in Europe, but during the COVID crisis, I was social distancing. Yeah, I know that. That's why I'm doing it. I think it's a good idea. I was social distancing on social media. So I wasn't even involved in any social media. And I was, you know, trying to live my life right and spend all my times playing with my kids and cooking and cleaning. And once I got back to work, man, I was having a good time here at the school. I had a good roster of classes last semester. but I got struck with the decisive crisis of the hero, and hopefully I've overcome it and I start to move away from it a little bit and get back to normal, get back to business as usual. You never know how long you're going to survive, and when you've been through something like me, you never know. You never know how long you got on this world. But I'm gonna enjoy every single day with great passion and succor, and relish in the fact that I know what I know, and I'm able to continue functioning for however long. So that's good. That's happy days. Happy days. So I wanted to blurt out to you about the X100 series, or it's the X series, and DJ dark journalist Daniel Libitz, I think is his name. Anyway, he just goes by Dark Journo. He thinks a lot like me, and watching dark journalists talk about politics is like watching a Frank Monday who spent, the last 20, 30 years of his life studying politics, which I did not. But he's got very similar views, in my opinion. And he knows a lot, so it's worth watching. And I like keeping up on it because he's got a good attitude, a good friendly attitude of no fucks to give for the haters, and well-polished and eloquent, and a nice guy. And he does a shout out to people that watch him, which makes it feel like family. So that's cool. So the X100 episode X100, is about X steganography and finding out about the deep state programs that are in tune with the paranormal. So everything you could hope for. Conspiracy theories concerning UFOs, the JFK assassination, continuity of government, or COG, all the old programs that have been exposed, like MK Ultra, Philadelphia Experiment, Operation Monarch, every operation in the book, Blue Book, Crossroads, so on and so forth. So these are things that I was interested in as a teenager and researching, and that even my family had some involvement in to some extent. I mean, everybody did. Those programs touched all our lives. But like, my pops, for example, Navy intelligence, he was involved in Operation Crossroads, Task Force 1, Marshall Island, Bikini Atoll. And he never talked about it really. He did tell me the one story about the ship, but I'm not gonna go back down that rabbit hole right now, because it's just doing my 5-minute smoke before I go into class. And I've actually got as much time as I need, but that old tobacco shit, man, it can be dangerous. So I'm trying to minimize it. I lit a smoke this morning after I got up, but I didn't smoke it really. I took like one puff and just kind of let it sit there and burn, because that shit's probably part of the problem that got me fucked up to begin with. Stress does it too. The doctor told me, he said there are 4 main factors. Alcohol, which I haven't drank more than a drop in over 15 years. I haven't had over a drink. Well, no, that's not true. 10 years I've been nearly completely sober, but I've had the occasional beer over the last couple of years. But 15 years I've been pretty much alcohol free. I quit that shit, what am I, 46, 47 this year? I quit that shit back, 33. Like Jesus, huh? But yeah, I had a good decade of enjoying the bottle. I wouldn't say that I was an alcoholic, but I was definitely an alcohol abuser. So that didn't help me. So the four main factors for the aneurysm could be genetic. That's one possibility, right? Could be alcohol if you're an alcohol abuser, and stress related. Stress can do it to you, and bad diet is probably always has something to do with it. And then smoking is a contributing factor. Not everybody that smokes necessarily affects them that way, but it can contribute to the hardening of the arteries or whatever causes that kind of thing to happen. I would say it's probably in part due to the fact that I've been in Beijing for 20 years and under some of the heaviest industrial pollution in the world. Iron smelting, the manufacturing of rare earths into computer components. There have been years here where we couldn't even see the sky. Years at a time. I think 2012 was one of those years. I'll give you a little hair action if you like that. That's cute, right? 2027, like the year right before the Olympics. They cleaned up the Olympics, but it's like, what did they use to make the sky look clean during the Olympics? Like, it was like this 90% of the fucking time. And then suddenly for the Olympics, like 3 months of what we called like APEC Blue, the Asia Pacific Economic Conference. During those times, man, they were fucking launching rockets into the air filled with silver nitrate. All right, I got the little red light. It says we're live, and now it disappeared. Sometimes it's got a timer up in the left-hand corner. At other times it doesn't. So you never know if you're truly live or not, even if it says it. So it is Thursday, March 4th, 6:52 a.m. Beijing time. We've got another very dark gray Lovecraftian day going on out there. I tried to set this camera to a position that I liked, but then it flops around a little bit. Got to get a new mount for that. So it looks like the elder gods have been released and their dark, odious tentacles are reaching into our world, pulling folks into the ethereal realm and beyond. Who knows how long any one of us has to go on this great plane of the earth, manifesting at you down from the Ein Sof or via Kether, Tiferoth, Yesod, and straight into the material plane. So what's going on with me today? Of course, I got a full gambit of classes this morning. Advanced placement, literature and language and composition. And then in the afternoon, I have some transitional folks moving from paradise, paradiso, the land of youth, into the land of adulthood. Things are starting to get busy as it is 10 to 7 this morning. This fog is something else, man. Just gray, overcast, malodorous, dark, and foreboding. Very apropos for the situation we find ourselves in. I'm curious about y'all back there in the States. Has Beijing Biden made an appearance recently? Has he given the State of the Union address? As far as I recall, every president does that at the end of January, but I never heard any word of it. So it seems like he is old Joe Biden, don't want it to be a racial jungle, white, black, what is it? No, poor kids. Poor kids can be as smart as white kids given the opportunity. That old gaff master, wondering if he ever made the State of the Union address. Is he set to step down this year in 2021 and let camel hair ass take over? What a name, huh? What can you do? You'll have to let me know. Put it down there in the comments. So this is my daily check-in to let everybody know that I'm doing good. Could probably use a trim on the old mug, or the, what is that called up top? You can call it hair. That's the most accurate description. I guess you could call it the bush, the weeds, the forest, the garden. I could use a little trim up there. Having a little black tea this morning. It's funny, in English we call it black tea, and in Chinese they call it red tea. So I think that they derive their names from different sources. The English version, black tea, same tea, is derived from the color of the leaves when dried. So it looks black. I mean, it's black. It's very dark. And then the Chinese name it red tea because it's the color of the tea after it's been steeped. So it's the color that the water transforms to after it's been steeped. So Chinese word of the day, hong cha. So hong, the word hong is red. Hong hong hua hua hong 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 ho ho. So red red fire fire means good fortune, and you say that around the time of the Chinese New Year, which we've just passed through. We are now in the year of the ox, so that's good. We've passed out of the year of the rat. We all had a good time in the year of the rat, I would imagine. Not so good. But the year of the ox should prove to be better, right? That guy, Rex Bear over at Leak Project, he always says, be the change you want to see in the world, right? So I think that's a good, what is the word? Maxim. Alrighty then, I will keep this short, just doing a little daily checkup, and this is my check-in for March 4th, 2021. Don't miss the X Series 100 by Dark Journalist. It's coming up this weekend. So today's Thursday. We got Friday, Saturday. I believe it'll air Saturday morning in the US or Friday night, seems like. Yeah, Friday night is usually when he goes live. But that is Saturday morning here in Beijing, because you know that we're time travelers over here. We are 12, 13, 14 hours in the future in reference to the United States. So check that out. The X100 Dark Journalist show. So the X series is about X steganography, which means that X's are put throughout society in plain sight to indicate paranormal activity and extra dimensional, super sensual, supernatural activity and programs that are underway. We have things like the X planes, the X aircraft that break the sound barrier and possibly travel through alternate dimensions. The Philadelphia Project comes to mind. Programs like Operation Monarch and MK Ultra, for some of you conspiracy theorists out there. So the X series focuses on, in part, the JFK assassination and the fact that it, in all likelihood, it was not Oswald and he was just a patsy, like he himself said on national television when he was captured. And the magic bullet, of course, in the JFK assassination, something like, what was it, 7, 8, 9 entry and exit wounds, that bullet just bounced around inside his body and came from all different directions at once. The grassy knoll, so on and so forth. So Dark Journalist digs into the nature of the deep state as put forward by Professor David Scott and his understanding of COG, or continuity of government. It's a good series. You should check it out. You can find it on YouTube, or you can just go directly to the website darkjournalist.com and sign up for the newsletter. That way there is a direct pipeline between the information coming forth from the Dark Journalist and all people interested that would like to know more about those situations. Right now there's a big focus on the hot zone, which is the area around the Florida Peninsula and the Bermuda Triangle. This may be where Atlantis sank, the famed legendary city of Atlantis. And there's possible activity there with Atlantis rising again. The temples of Atlantis, according to that prophet Edgar Casey, that the land formations south of that area, in the Atlantic Ocean, would rise again, and there may be some activity about that. If you have any information on that, put it in the comments down below. Let me know. Send me an email. Send DJ an email over at info@darkjournalist, and join me 2 days time. So Friday night for y'all and Saturday morning here. Join me for X100, episode X100, and let's go deep into the rabbit hole of what's going on in the world these days. As always, I love y'all good looking sexy motherfuckers out there in YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and other lands, La La Land especially. As you know, it is that time of year again, spring dawning. The equinox is rapidly approaching. So I will see y'all in the future, as above, so below. Until next time. And it says, finish broadcast, but you and I both know it never ends.
All right. Frank Monday coming at you straight out the ghetto, talking about Dark Journalist X100 episode coming up tonight in I guess 12 hours, I would imagine. 8 o'clock tonight. So look for it. Get on over to Dark Journalist and subscribe to the newsletter, and join me tonight in the chat room. It'll be tomorrow morning for me, but it'll be Friday evening for you guys. Friday, March 5th. It's another beautiful Lovecraftian day here. The elder gods have been released. The Kraken. Yeah, so I got cut off because I was talking about the way they cleaned up the pollution here in Beijing for the Olympics. That was 13 years ago. They were launching rockets outside the city of silver nitrate. From what I understand, I don't know what kind of I don't know what chemical composition it was exactly, what chemical cocktail they were using, but they, in the daily newspaper, the China Daily or the Beijing Daily, they had pictures of the SAM rocket delivery system, surface-to-air missiles, and they were you could hear them. You could hear them exploding, and it sounded like we were at war. But you could hear these rockets exploding in the atmosphere, releasing huge clouds of silver nitrate that pool down the smog, and then you could feel it on your skin, and you'd have to take a shower and wash it off. So, I mean, that was openly talked about and discussed. So you got to wonder what those chemical cocktails did to us. Yeah, I'm talking about other things unraveling the reason that my head is the way it is. And like I was saying before, one of the top 10 doctors of the Chinese CDC. He told me we all had about 10 years before we were dead of cancer if it continued the way it was here, that the levels of pollution were so high that we weren't going to be able to survive, that 50% of us would be dead. And so that's service to the global economy that did that. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't clean it up, you know. I guess you could, you know, but they're not going to. It's all back to business as usual right now. They have these fake lockdowns so that only the global elite can move about with any freedom, while the rest of us plebes are stuck in our prisons working for the man. But there's still some beautiful places out there, man. Just pollution-free, tropical paradises, 5-star hotels filled with all of the stolen children and orphans that are enslaved to cook and clean for the elite. So they're still having a good time. It's just you and me that are in the belly of the beast. We're the ones that suffer. But I'm glad that I had the surgery, because I probably would have died if I didn't. The head had exploded and I was suffering bad, man. I was going on 2 solid months of serious headaches and nearly paralyzed, and then my eye just flopped over, and that was it, man. That scared the fucking dog shit out of me. So I don't know if I would have recovered without it. And yeah, the contributing factors, there are more than one, obviously. Sometimes I tell my wife it's all her fault for giving me 20 years of stress, and if she'd have just fucking left me alone a little bit, I'd be in a lot better health, which is true. That's part of it. That's part of it. She's part to blame there, but she can't help herself, man. She's a fucking control freak, and she wants to make sure that everything's running smooth. And she didn't do it for evil reasons. She did it because she wanted to keep the family healthy and happy and keep her husband on a fucking short leash. And I married her. I mean, I didn't necessarily want to, but I did want to get married and I did want to raise a family. And it was either her or someone else. And I chose her in part because of her strong personality. I needed a good warrior at my back in this place. You know, I didn't know the fucking culture or the rules and regulations well enough to survive out here on my own, and it's where I wanted to be. I made my own goddamn choices, and I made my bed and I got to lie in it. I wanted to be here. I wanted to be among the Chinese people because I had a deep seated love of ancient Chinese culture. I knew that when I got here there wasn't any ancient Chinese culture left, that it was gone. Mostly. But I found little pockets of it existing and surviving in the city, and I needed to be in a city of 50 million people to get the experiences that I wanted. So I have no regrets. It required me breathing 20 years of mercury sulfide, you know, on a daily basis. And like I said, the cigarettes didn't help. Shouldn't fucking smoked ever. But, you know, it's not the end of the fucking world. Unless it is. Because it sometimes feels like it, man. It sometimes feels like it. So I put this one on horizontal because I like it better on movie mode. Movie mode looks cool. You can give that 1,000-yard stare. And it just looks Shuai Jila. Shuai is handsome, good looking, cool. And so I like it on movie mode. I am pushing the buck this morning. I figured I could do a couple of extra minutes because I got cut off for talking about the silver nitrate rockets that clean up the air when it's time for the Biden family to come over and party like it's 1999. Notice there's no talk of Hunter Biden anymore. Don't know what happened to that motherfucker. He's hiding out. No talk of Joe himself. I called that last election the necropsyops or necropsyop.
because in prime health and good physical condition at 45 years old, 46, 47, having gone through an aneurysm, I know that it's a great fucking, it's a huge knock to your cognitive capacity and ability to work with active memory. And I know that old Joe Biden, if he's had 10 aneurysm surgeries, then that motherfucker doesn't have a brain left. That shit ain't cute. So don't be fooled. The necropsy is well underway. I love y'all good looking motherfuckers. As above, so below. I will see you in the future, and catch me on the flip side. And as they say, it says finish broadcast, but you and I both know it ain't never finished. Kisses from Happy Land. Ty Jam for now.
Hope y'all can remain my nigga after this.
Thank you for watching Lunar Light Entertainment. Have a great day.